What's up, guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about what it is that we're using to paint Andrew's car. So we're going to go over the sandpaper, we're going to go over the clear coat, and everything else. Also, we're going to break this up into probably at least two parts. The first part is going to be this tonight, and the second part is probably going to be at my dad's house. Just so you guys know, the car has been painted. Looks pretty good. Alright guys, let's get to the video.
The Arctic Fox.
So I think right now will be a very good time to go over some of the materials that we've been using, what Andrew's doing right now, because I know I've had a lot of you ask, you know, what is it that you're using? At the moment, Andrew's using 400 grit wet dry sandpaper. All he's going to do now is go over and scuff the outside of the car. So just the top layer of clear coat, I'm just going to scuff it up. The paint on the side of the car is pretty good. Probably not going to need a lot of work. But like these spots right here are going to have to be feathered out. Let me pull some of this stuff out and I'll show you what it is that we're working with. First off, the clear coat that we will be using is Nason. As a lot of you guys know, I really like the Nason stuff. It's pretty cheap. The deal with clear coat, what you're looking for is a high solid count. I think the solid count on this particular clear is, say, like 40% or so, something like that. Once you get up into like the 60% range, you're really going to start paying, you know, a lot more money for this clear coat. But for what we're going to do, this works really good. This is what's on my car, and so far it's holding up pretty good. All you're going to need for your clear coat is some activator right here and your clear coat. As far as mask goes, we picked this up from a local hardware / auto parts store. I think it was like 30 something bucks. And you're going to need a respirator if you're going to be doing stuff like this, obviously. As far as paint goes, we're using a Nason full base paint. And this stuff is really good if you're going to be using like a solid color, like a solid white or solid red, something like that. Even the metallics look pretty good, but if you're really trying to match a color on a car that you already have, there are a lot better options out there. Chroma base or something like that, DuPont stuff, would be what you would want if you're trying to match a color. But for this works great. If you're going to respray the whole car, you can get away with this. Now, as far as the guns go, this is what we're using. I bought these off of somebody for like 20 bucks, so you know, can't really complain. I will tell you this, the door jamb gun leaked right out of the needle. It was just leaking paint everywhere. And we used one of the other guns. One is a for clear coat, and one is just for like base coat and stuff. They work okay. You know, I mean, you can get away with it. You can get by with it. As long as you put enough clear coat on and you don't run it like really bad, you can always come back and wet sand and buff, guys. So don't get too caught up in having, you know, the best guns. It's just like with like a musical instrument. It's not going to make you a good musician. That's not going to make you a good painter. You can go out and buy a $600, $700, $800 gun, and it doesn't mean you're going to be able to paint. But they do make it easier when you have a really good gun that has a nice fan on it that's going to really lay the paint down, or the clear coat really smooth and uniform. Keep that in mind. You can go to Harbor Freight and buy a gun there. If you're going to be doing it in your garage, I wouldn't expect you to expect it to be a show job. Now, I have seen some show cars that were painted in the garage. Some of you guys talk about it all the time. You know, I painted my car in my garage and it turned out really good. I take it to shows. That's pretty cool. Not everybody's going to be able to do that though. Also, make sure you have plenty of lacquer thinner on hand, because remember guys, if you're going to do this, you've got to be able to clean your paint gun. When you saw Andrew sanding the roof of the car and the hood of the car with the electric sander, he was using, what was it, 220? Yeah. 220 grit's fine to knock everything down with. Up here, the top of this car was pretty rough, so he used 220 grit on it. After you're done with your 220 grit, you really need to come back with some 320 or 400's fine. You can come back with that, especially if you're going to be priming the car. You can kind of sand this thing rough. You can sand it coarse if you're going to come back with a primer. When you sand with 220 grit, it actually allows the primer to bond to the car a little better. So 220 grit's fine. Let's move over here and see what Andrew's doing. All right, so I know it's getting dark out here, but essentially all you want to do whenever you're sanding the outside of your car like this and you're going over it, let's say you don't have any body damage and you basically just want to get your car ready to paint. This is a necessary process. What he's doing right now, like I said, is just wet sanding with 400 grit sandpaper. Whenever he sprayed his door jambs, he got overspray on the car, so we have to get all that off. So this is a win-win the way he's doing it right now, because not only is he sanding the paint, getting it ready for the primer, he's also getting that old clear coat off that was on there. Also, he's going to start pulling some parts off the car tonight. That way, like I said, it just makes it easier on us tomorrow. So he's probably going to pull like his mirrors off and stuff like that. We aren't expecting any rain, so we're basically just going to get up in the morning, drive about 35-40 minutes in that direction, go to my dad's, and hopefully we can get this thing done. We are trying to get the thing painted tomorrow night, but there's a good chance it'll probably be Sunday. Hey, look who it is, guys. Why don't you go ahead and tell them who you are, Benny, since you get down in the comment section and fuss all the time because nobody ever mentions you.
Hi. I was allowed to come outside the house today.
Yeah, he got a kitchen pass. As you can see, Andrew's done a pretty good job. Got the car, for the most part, sanded down. Like I said, we're going to take it over to my dad's tomorrow, so we'll finish it up there more than likely. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. The front bumper is really not going to be an issue. We thought that it was going to need a lot of work, but I know you guys can't really see it, but the front bumper is looking pretty good. The back bumper is going to need a little bit of work. We're probably going to have to take the sander to hit, the electric sander, put some pretty coarse sandpaper on it because it's got some bad paint and clear coat chipping off right here, so all that's going to have to be blended down. But the bumper itself is straight, and right now what Andrew's doing is wet sanding with actually not really wet sanding, he's using a red Scotch-Brite just to go over this base coat. Should be good to go. Also tomorrow I'm going to go over how to remove this trim. There's actually a tool for that, so I think you can pick them up from Harbor Freight, but I'll show you guys tomorrow if you don't know how to pop this trim off correctly so that you don't bend it all up and you don't bust your glass, because that is absolutely something you can do if you're trying to use like a screwdriver to get in there. That's not the way to do it. Like I said, there's actually a tool for it, so we'll cover that tomorrow. And we were going to start taking parts off the car, but took Andrew a little longer than we thought to get it all wet sanded out. It's looking pretty good, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Everybody's just over here hanging out right now, so what do you think, guys? Should we get Zach in for like a podcast session one night, just sit down, chill and talk, get some of his antics, or should I just go to bed again and just hand him the camera tonight? All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end this video tonight. Just gonna hang out for a little while and wrap it up. We got to get to bed kind of early. Well, it's actually like 11:30 already, but we got to get up early in the morning to go over to my dad's house, so we will see you guys there. We may split this video up, so this may be like a part 1 and then tomorrow will be like a part 2, something like that. But either way, we will see you guys tomorrow, and as always, thanks for watching.